Next up is the third item, adoption of resolution of approval for accessory apartment application number PAA 25-2 for existing approved accessory apartment transfer to new owner, 18 Halsey Place, R40 zoning district, Joseph Maselli. Any questions or comments from board members?
No. I move adoption of the resolution.
Motion from Eileen,
Second.
second from Jean. Jean,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Eileen,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and an aye for me. Okay, and the final one for business items, request for a 90-day extension of the resolution of approval for subdivision application ST 23-04 and steep slopes application SS 23-13 for the development of vacant parcels located at Bradhurst Avenue for the construction of approximately 3,000 square foot business office through Storage Born. Additional improvements include driveway, parking areas, storm water mitigation facilities, landscape and screened areas. SBL 12.9-1-2 and 3. Owner is Brighton Avenue Properties LLC. And I believe this one, they are going through the extension because they're getting their ducks in a row.
That's correct. 90 days, the request.
So an additional 90-day request. I think this is like the second or third one, roughly.
Yeah, I think it's the second one, and they, if you remember, DOT had issues with their curb cuts, so that's what they're.
Yeah, so it's a question about them getting their DOT curb cuts approval.
Make a motion to grant the 90-day extension.
Motion from John,
Second.
second from Eileen. Jean,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Eileen,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and an aye for me. Okay, next up, continuing public hearing. This is something we have had a public hearing in the past, and now we're back. So it's item number 1, and the only item for continuing. Public hearing, 790 Hartscrabble Road subdivision, 1 lot into 2 for the development of a one-family dwelling. Application subdivision PSD 25-2, location 790 Hartscrabble Road, Chappaqua. Section block lot number is 99.6-1-4, zone R40, owner Tarun Gershahani. Applicant architect is Michael Picarillo Architecture. Welcome, come on up.
Do we need to have a motion
Yeah,
to
we do.
reopen the public hearing?
No, it's still open.
No, we,
No? It just stays open? Okay.
it stays open,
Oh, we're
right?
good? Okay.
Yep. Come on up. Welcome, state your name and where you're from.
Tarun Gursani from Chappaqua, New York, 790 Hartscrabble.
Thank you very much. Okay, so, do you have anything to present?
Yeah, so let me just give a copy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this is what this is.
So, in the last public hearing, there were a number of questions, a few questions raised by the public in attendance. So we submitted all our responses, I think, 2 to 3 weeks back. So we have compiled and submitted everything. We've done the tree survey, etc. So we could go 2 ways. We could review this document, okay, quickly, or if you have reviewed it, I mean, we can sort of move to the next stage, but I can go through the queries raised. So I went through the public hearing last time, and I have noted down everything in a vigorous manner, so we can go through that, if that is okay with the board.
Okay. So I think the big topic we should probably hit first is the other road,
Mm-hmm.
the back road, I guess you can call it.
Yeah. So if you see page number 2, okay. So this is back in towards the end of 2024, beginning of 2025. We had a pre-submission meeting with Pat, the inspectors, where we considered various options to get access to the backlot. All right. The first option was to see if some of the folks who were present last time. There are 2 pleasant roads in the vicinity. One option was to use the option number 1, the Pleasant Road, which serves 806 Hartscrabble and 793 Hartscrabble. The second option was the Pleasant Road that serves, if you see the second option, that is the back road option, one of the options that we looked at that time, which has a 25 feet right of the way. And the third option, obviously, which we talked about, was building a new frontage. So back in January of 2025, we did consider 3 options. So it's not like we proceeded with the option 3 here without considering other options. All the 3 options were in play. We chose the option 3 at that time. If you move to the next page, all right. So I prepared this for our own assessment, but we use this document quite extensively to really look at 3 factors, right? Are we disrupting neighbors? What is the cost? What is the environmental disruption? And there is the section 28A, which, it's quite confusing, but our main goal also was to obtain a building permit when we build the access to the back lot, okay? And in our discussions throughout, I think the option 3 was something that there was broad-based agreement with the inspectors across the board to use this option would be very viable, and it would satisfy option 28A compliance, and we would be able to obtain a building permit.
The town staff engineer and all that were in agreement with option 3?
Yeah, I mean, they have passed that option. Yeah.
So that was what you were in agreement to before the planning board meeting. And the driveway that's not included in this analysis is the one that would run along the rear of 765 Hardscrabble next to 763 Hardscrabble. That one, was a surprise to you at the meeting, I think. Right along, if it went back here, along the rear of this house. Yeah, that was the one that,
Yeah. So there were
Hadn't
zoning
been
issues that were brought up at that point, and there is extensive vegetation there, and it would sort of bring another group of neighbors here with their concerns as well. So that option was considered, but there is massive vegetation.
Who considered it?
Huh?
Who considered that option?
So I think we talked about these options right at the upfront, right? Because we wanted the best route to go back.
So I want to be specific. When we say we considered it, who considered that option between 763 and 765? Was it you? Was it, who was
did you
waiting?
discuss it with staff or anybody
Yeah,
else?
so
Oh.
in that discussion that we had, there were a number of options presented, and this was one of the options also. But the
Right.
section 28A keeps coming up again.
Right, but the question they're asking is, who did you discuss this with specifically?
The January meeting, the pre-submission meeting that we had, that's where we
With-
discussed. The town, Pat was there, the
Myself and
town,
the building inspector. So
Building inspector.
I can clarify that. So the option 2 was not discussed at that meeting. We were unaware of that of the right-of-way that exists behind the property. I think we all learned of that after that pre-submission meeting. So at that point, the applicant decided to continue with option 3, which is what was, I think, their preferred option. And that's when, at the last meeting, you heard Joe, building inspector, indicating that we didn't know about that. That was not we didn't sign off on that. We were unaware of that option at the time. So what we learned from that meeting is that the applicant has done some work. That is a right-of-way, it's a map street. They have legal frontage on that back parcel, but there is existing vegetation that exists in the area. I will say, the vegetation that exists is invasive species. It's a lot of bamboo back there, so the loss of that is not a negative thing necessarily. But I think to the applicant's point, it will engage other neighbors who may have a differing opinion with respect to that. My advice to you is, the neighbors don't get to vote on this, you get to vote, so you should evaluate the least impactful, most appropriate alternative.
So I'm having a hard time, let me just keep, so when we met last time here at the planning board, did you meet with town staff again?
No,
Or was it back in January?
we met once in
Okay,
January.
And you're saying January of 2025, that's a year ago,
Yeah.
right? So since then, for an entire year, a year has gone by, and this is where we've landed.
During the year, we actually did go to zoning, we came back to planning, and so there have been a number of iterations since then. And this document, though, I did submit to the town engineer and the town probably 3 weeks back. I mean, I didn't hear back from them. I did ask the board, the folks here. They didn't respond back, so I was assuming everything was fine. So
I thought at the meeting, the last time, that the driveway that Dave Smith pointed out would be like that over here. Am I mistaken? Take it to the end of there. That's where I thought the drawing showed it.
But I thought the output of the last meeting was reviewing that option that was not on Hardscrabble Road, that it was behind the property.
The Pleasant Road option.
But, so that's,
The southerly Pleasant Road
Correct.
option.
yeah.
but that was really the conversation we were supposed to come back to the board with, which I'm not hearing that conversation tonight.
I mean, I went through the video. I mean, nothing was written, so I went through the video. I did not find that. One of the neighbors, he did bring it up. Again, you're assuming I own 765, so that might be a viable option. So just because I own 765 doesn't mean I would be okay with that option.
Because if we went back to the meeting video
Yeah.
and we looked at the output, or what we decided to do, you were going to explore a different option to see if it was viable or not. And I'm not getting clear understanding if it is viable at this point or not. And that option was behind, not going on to Hardscrabble, we're going on to Pleasant Road. So did we have any analysis or assessment based on Pleasant Road?
Yeah.
Access?
That's what the applicant submitted to you.
Okay, so I'm still not clear on, what was the output of that submission? That there was a road with some vegetation on it and that was a concern?
So
Extensive.
So there are 3 options that he just described to you. So
Yeah.
the first option, the North Pleasant Road, they would have to create a right-of-way or an easement to give access to that rear property. Nothing exists today. The southerly provision, option 2, there is a connection and a right-of-way that gives access to the rear lot. So that's already there. And the applicant, as you just indicated, owns that rear parcel as well. He's saying tonight, I don't, that's not my preferred option. He wants to go with option 3, which is the flag lot option off the front.
Okay,
And the issue with that is that there's bamboo growing in it.
The option, that southern option, it's wooded with invasive species.
Option 3.
Option 2.
option,
That's option 2. Option
Option
3 is simply the flag lot.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, so there is disruption in everything, right? So if I go on the Pleasant Road option that you just talked about, right? So I would have to share that with 5 other neighbors. So we would be having a similar meeting with 5 other neighbors that would complain about this, all right? And what we eventually decided is to do something which is in my control, meaning it is all situated and limited within the perimeter of my property that I own, so that I'm not disrupting my neighbors. Yes, there is some environmental displacement here, which I completely agree, which we have assessed based on the tree survey. We have plotted the trees on the new path that we wanted to build. There is less than, I think there are like 4 large trees that would be disrupted, and overall there'll be 11 trees disrupted.
so that, the house you live in is 765 Hardscrabble Road, correct?
Yes.
So that's this house here, and then that's this house over here.
Yes.
That's his house. So you are creating, because we heard from the public that night, the people in 806 and the people in 790 and a few others were not happy about the long road. So how long is this road between Hardscrabble Road and the lot? Because the one on Pleasant Road is 25 feet. How long is the driveway for the proposed option that you prefer, which is option 3?
It's
I think it's 15 feet. It would be a driveway, not a road. That's the difference. So this is a driveway serving the back lot. Pleasant Road is a road.
But how long is that from Hardscrabble Road to the house?
It's quite a distance. It goes the length of the 790 to the back where they would subdivide the property.
That's what I'm reading is from
Couple
Pleasant
hundred
Road,
feet.
from Pleasant Road it's 25 feet. And it looks double the length between Hardscrabble Road and the home, or where the lot is proposed to be built.
So you would be coming into Pleasant Road, right, coming in.
Yeah.
So you do the distance that you would do either way, and then you would cross in to the 25 feet, and then you would have to create another slight deviation to get in. So yes, the 100 feet one is longer, absolutely, but it is contained within my property. It doesn't disrupt. And just on the option that we talked about right off the way, I do have a well there as well, along with the bamboo vegetation we talked about. I do have a well there. My well 765 is right there as well. So considering those different things, I think
Yeah, but I think, I hear you have a well and you have things going on, but I think I remember 806 had things going on at that property too, that you're putting a driveway right next to number 806.
but it's on my side. Yes, I get it. So, I have put in my conclusion that I am willing to do whatever it needs, even if it's building separation, meaning putting trees for privacy's sake. Yes, there's a driveway, but I mean, that's a viable option that is self-contained. I'm not disrupting anybody. I'm just using my own driveway to go back.
Can
Do
you
you-
clarify where your well is?
On
On
765,
765, yeah.
it's right here.
Oh, it is. So if he just indicated the location of the well for the back lot is almost adjacent to the dog leg of Pleasant Road, there's a setback around wells within which you can't build stuff.
But how do
So
we?
he
how do-
would have to improve that area, which he could not do where that
Oh,
well
but
is.
he's pointing to it with a pen, but how do we know that's correct?
I think we would verify that.
Yeah,
But that's actually the most pervasive issue that he's presented to you tonight, which why that option is not a particularly viable option. I mean, conceivably, you could have him move as well, if that's your preference for that, but the health department has setbacks around wells, and he would have to build a driveway within that area that he could not do.
okay. Any other questions from board members?
I had a couple of thoughts about this. I'm not sure that what you submitted analyzes where, I thought that Dave Smith said that the Pleasant Road driveway, where he would go in,
Right.
would enter to
the
the
back.
west side of 765, between 763 and 765, and go into the back of the new lot. That's what I thought the drawing was of.
So that's where, yes,
And that option is not analyzed in what's here.
right, option 2 shows it at the beginning of the lot.
Yeah.
You could, option 4 could be at the back of the lot.
Okay. Having said that, I think that engineering might have bigger plans for Pleasant Road South if we go from 4 houses on that to 5 houses, and it may go, I mean, we call it a road, but it's like 12 feet wide, and it's lined on both sides. And they may want it to now be a 20-foot right-of-way instead of, right now, 2 cars can't pass each other on that. Once you start adding houses, it might not be viable to stay at 12 feet, and then we'd have the neighbors very upset at 757, 753, because suddenly they're gonna have, a full-on road instead of a driveway. I drove to the back of Pleasant Road to the end, and I counted 2 pine trees and 1 large deciduous tree along that westerly lot line of 765. So that they would have to come down for a roadway to go in there, or driveway to go in there. But I have mixed feelings about that, because that's, we may be opening up Pandora's box there, that it's going to turn into something bigger, because the more cars you come, sharing, it's essentially like a shared driveway. We're calling it a road, but it's the width of a driveway. So I have, that concern. As to the impact to the neighbor at 806 Hardscrabble, we discussed doing a shared driveway coming into 790, and for 50 reasons you wouldn't want to do that. The new owner wouldn't want to do that. The board may still want to consider that, but something that might soften the blow of an additional driveway. I don't know how much distance there is between the existing driveway and the lot line that abuts 806. If you have the room to use the existing driveway, add a driveway, and throw a row of arborvitae or something, an evergreen that blocks their view of the new driveway, that might satisfy that concern.
Yeah, which I put in my conclusion that that is something that we were willing to do and we would definitely do to help some of the concerns.
Also, right now, while they enjoy the vegetation that's there, maybe some of it can be saved, but really, if you wanted to, couldn't you just go in there and mow it all down? It's on your property. You know, it's almost, they're enjoying the benefit of your vegetation, which you have control over.
I mean, there is, I can see their house actually, there is very sparse, like a lot of those trees, which are the 12 diameter inch, I mean, they are almost dead there, so,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm saying like both, I guess I'm saying this is a tough one because there are many things to consider.
So,
Yeah.
That's why we've been at it for a
Yeah.
year now, so, yeah.
And I mean, to that point, we haven't heard from Dave yet, but I think if we were to use the southern Pleasant Road, he'd want some improvements to that road. Minimally widening it, but drainage improvements and so forth, so it's conceivable, you use the phrase can of worms, it could be a can of worms, and
Yeah.
with the type of improvements that would be necessary for that.
Okay. Just something else for the board to consider if we want to go with that.
So we don't have all the information we need to have.
I think, Mr. Chairman, two options. If you are inclined to go with his flag lot option, you can ask him to provide a screening plan and the landscaping that he might do for that. If you still want to consider the southerly Pleasant Road option, I think we need to hear from Dave and what would
Yeah.
be required in terms of improving that road, if anything.
What's the issue with the option he chose of 3? You chose 3?
Mm-hmm.
What's that issue?
The neighbors.
The neighbors,
At the public hearing, they had some issues.
this guy here in 806, the driveway's gonna be top of his house, he's saying,
This driveway, this guy here.
yeah.
And the one in the back, 793, also is concerned.
I mean,
Well,
793 will get no part of the driveway though, but I think he's more privacy concerned,
Right, his was a privacy concern. with the
which,
house
I mean,
going in.
we will put the arborvitae's there to help that.
So the option 1, Jim, is coming this way, correct?
Mm-hmm.
There,
That's a
there
fit-
is not a right-of-way for option one, you'd have to establish that.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's kind of the most cumbersome
And
option.
we know that that neighbor has opposed the project, so it's unlikely they would agree to a right-of-way across their property. so-
Correct.
Okay.
I
And
think one is a
option three,
non-starter.
you've already removed the,
But you know, with option
Detached.
1, I'm sorry
No,
to
go
bring it
ahead.
up, because the 806 neighbor was concerned about creating another driveway on my, because they would have 2. I mean, that is something that we did consider that, you know, just let us use your right of way so that then we don't create another one and sandwich you. That was their concern. But if they're not willing to help us, I mean, I'm not really left with a lot of options here.
Are all of these neighbors around you against this whole thing?
Well, last time 806 and 793 and 763 were here. 763, gentleman was more concerned about the marsh thing and again privacy, but he wasn't really concerned about the driveway, but he was more concerned about the would there be drainage issues on his property if he were to do something? And I think one of the gentlemen here said this might actually help him rather than, right, so.
Yeah, because no matter which way we go, someone's gonna be unhappy.
Yes. So, you know, if I go with that southerly option, I'll have 5 or 6 unhappy neighbors. Here, I would have 1 unhappy neighbor. Yeah, but you know.
two, there were 2, 793 and 806 were both.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
they were-
793, he wants to buy the land back there also, so he's trying to negotiate with me, so,
Well,
yes.
so who's negotiating with you?
Yeah.
He wants to buy the land, what does he want to do? He wants to build a house too now?
He just wants to.
Is that what he's doing?
He just wants. He was just to buy it. That's it.
He says he wants it for, he said at the meeting that he wants it for privacy, to assure his future privacy.
Yeah.
But we might be looking at him to build a house, you never know. Future owner or someone
I
will
mean,
come
I
in.
wanted my parents to move there, but you know, it's been a year, so I don't think they're going to move. But I'm just looking forward to any viable option here. Really.
So I think with option 3, if we were presented with a screening and landscaping plan, would be probably favorable to present to the neighbors, is my thought.
Yeah, if we had a, you could show it, whether it's on TV or on a drawing, that we could kind of get our eyes on it, is what it is.
Yeah, because I'm wondering why there was so much input or people here for the last meeting. Nobody's here tonight, as far as I know. And I'm wondering why.
Cold.
Yeah, it's cold out.
It was holiday season, and there was a lot of input. So, I think we need to probably, if we're going to consider any of these options, I think they need to be fully vetted out with the landscaping plan, and then get the questions answered from Dave Smith on option 4, I guess it was. So we can present to the public a more.
Option 4 is coming from back here.
Yeah, it's not listed, but that was what we talked about last.
Option
So it's
2.
the- But option 4, he has to get permission from this guy.
I think
That is
Dave's
him.
drawing
Yeah,
showed
that's
that
where he
it
lives.
was
So he-
there.
he can come to
Instead of
here.
Yeah.
on the-
Yeah,
On the east
so
side.
that southern so call it the southern option.
And
Right, so-
access the rear of that
And
790.
how does that option 4 not work for you?
Because as well.
I mean, there's a lot of vegetation, extensive trees there, and my neighbor 763, he's not going to be happy about that if he has a road in front of him. And I own since 765.
Wow.
He has a well there, right? We have a. Oh, that's the other the option. This the back one, absolute back one, 763 would not be happy with that. And I'm assuming since we're building a road in.
All right, the well is on this side, the well is over here. So on this side, there's no well. Okay, we're gonna avoid, if you want to come up and join your husband, you're more than welcome, but we can't do it from the back, unfortunately, so come on
So,
up.
yeah, we would go into zoning for that,
We
because.
end up into zoning if we go with option 4, because then we will not meet our R40, we lose our 1 acre then.
Yeah,
So I think we really need to speak to Dave Smith and find out whether there would be road or widening requirements associated with option 2 or option 4.
Right.
Because that would result in the loss of a lot of vegetation going up through there. And they would have a road closer to, it's a much bigger project to run, whatever that, 400 feet of road, widening the whole thing. So I want
let's get the full
to know
picture.
if that would be required. If it wouldn't be required, then it's an easier job.
Because I think there's just a few remaining pieces of the puzzle we need to plug in.
I think you should, you prefer option 3. I think you should dazzle your neighbors and the board with the landscaping that you're going to do there so that it's not disruptive, and we'll get the answers from the town engineer about what is involved in using the southerly Pleasant Road. Does that make sense?
I
Yep.
agree.
Okay. So I take care of the screening and the landscaping plan, and they will be follow-up here, or should I follow up with the town?
No, you can resubmit to the board and we'll get it back on the next agenda.
No, for the 2 and for the option 2 and the 4.
Right, where you're
provided-
adding the landscaping, we will clarify the lower option,
the lo-
or southern option.
Okay. Is there anything else?
All the other issues that were raised, we have noted them. The marshland thing, we looked at the EAF mapper, so there's no marshland
No
issue
impact.
there. And critically environmental areas, obviously, we are not in that area, so that's something folks had raised. So yeah, I mean, and we have done the tree survey in the end, so if we plotted the trees that would be displaced. in case we were going with option 3.
Yeah, they've satisfactorily addressed those other issues.
Okay,
Okay.
let's just kind of figure out these remaining questions, and I think we can have a more complete conversation. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Adjourn the public hearing?
A motion to adjourn the public hearing?
Motion from Eileen,
Second it.
second from Steve, Jane,
Aye.
John,
All right.
Eileen,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and I for me. Okay, next up is a new application. It's not a public hearing, it's 174 Arthur Avenue, Thornwood, to legalize a accessory apartment on first floor of existing residence. Application accessory apartment PAA 25-03, location 174 Arthur Avenue, Thornwood. Section block lot number is 106.19-2-37, zone R10. Owner applicant is Stephen Thomas Hersberg. Welcome, Mr. Hersberg.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hi.
State your
Hi.
name
As
and who you are.
stated, yes, Stephen Hersberg. I'm the applicant and owner of 174 Arthur Avenue, along with my wife Rain and 2 school-aged children.
Okay. So give us a little background if you can.
Yeah, there's essentially an in-law apartment on the south side of the house existing, and we just want to legalize that for an accessory unit.
So is it an apartment today?
It's not in use, no. We just have it empty.
So it's been an empty apartment, and it's been an empty
Yeah.
apartment for years, I guess.
Sorry?
How long has it been empty?
It's been empty at least 6 months.
It was never-
6 months.
Yeah.
it was never-
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, Mr. Chairman, so the apartment was there, but it was never legalized as an accessory apartment. That's why he's before. I think it predates everything.
So how long?
Yeah, so-
how long?
so-
How long have you lived in the house?
2024 February.
Okay, so you bought the house that had an accessory apartment in it.
Yeah, then located the information, said it wasn't legal, so meant to legalize it to make it,
Okay.
um,
Because usually after a title transfers, they come back sooner than.
There's a limit.
yeah, the CVO doesn't have any use as an
Yeah,
accessory
it
unit.
was never identified as an accessory apartment. It was just there.
Okay.
So no one knew it was an apartment when it was transferred.
Okay, so it's
So
not.
it's never been, okay.
It's never been.
So
So this
it's
is the first
brand
time
new
any
application.
legal action would be taken to legalize that space.
So as of today, it's not an apartment.
Sorry?
It's not a
It's
legal
not an
apartment.
apartment.
It is
today.
an apartment, but
It's
Well,
an
it's,
apartment, but it's not legal.
it wasn't permitted and it
Right.
wasn't approved.
Yeah, it's set up as an apartment.
As far as the
There's,
town's concerned, it's not an apartment yet.
Yeah,
Right,
correct.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's a kitchenette that will have to be legalized.
Okay. Okay. Any questions or comments from board members?
And the good news, Mr. Chairman, this complies fully with the accessory apartment requirements in this zone.
Right, I saw that. Any other questions or comments from board members?
Have you gone through the permitting
For
with the
building
town, like,
department?
yeah, with the building department?
I'll do that right after this process.
The building inspector did inspect the property and there are no
Yeah, he
issues.
inspected it.
So we have his report already.
Yeah, he inspected it last week and approved it.
Okay.
What do we have to do with this?
Set a public hearing.
Okay.
Is there there's no CO for this space, like it was never CO'd, it wasn't permitted, so he inspected it without filing any permits or
No,
anything?
he inspected it based on the application that has been filed.
So you bought
Right,
the
but
house?
no one's ever applied, permits like to get a CO for the
No.
space, so.
Correct,
Like, has
so,
the electrical been,
That's why the building inspector went out there and all of it is compliant. Building code, plumbing, all of that's compliant.
yeah, he approved it with the caveat that, we'd have to get a third-party inspection to check plumbing and the electrical.
And you'd have to approve the accessory apartment. So all of that becomes as typically conditions of your approval.
And then that goes on a CO.
Yep,
So he's going through the right process. He didn't skip any
completely the
hoops,
right process.
which is-
No,
which
yeah,
is good.
The pre-existing apartment was not his issue.
Right.
And when he purchased the property, he either knew or didn't know, but it didn't matter
No.
because it wasn't established as a legal apartment. He
No,
just
and-
thought he bought 2 kitchens.
No, yeah, and it's good that he is going through the process so we can
Absolutely.
get this done. And it makes everything much better for you long-term. So,
It'll be better for selling it and for making upgrades to that space to make it
yeah,
more usable for tenants.
100%. Okay, so with that being said, I think all we have to do, if the board decides to do it, is schedule a public hearing.
I'll make a motion to schedule the public hearing.
Motion from Eileen,
Second it.
second from Steve, Jean,
Aye.
John, Eileen,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and I for me. Okay, thank you. We'll see you at the public
Thank you.
hearing. Okay. The last one is 2 Broadway, Hawthorne, conversion of a single-story commercial structure to a 3-story mixed-use storage and residential structure. Application site plan number PSP 25-12. Location 2 Broadway, Hawthorne, section block lot number is 112.9-3-10. Zone HHC, owner 2 Broadway Realty LLC, applicant architect Jonathan Villani Associates. Welcome.
Good evening. Jonathan Villani with Nunziata Villani Design Consultants representing Bridgepoint Group, 2 Broadway. This site plan was previously approved plus or minus 3 years ago for a 3-story structure building on the existing footprint. We reintroduced the project in a pre-submission meeting with Mr. Cleary and Sal Vanella to establish the approval process, since this is now falls in the HH zoning district with a different set of design parameters as well as zoning compliance. So we fell into a difficult situation where we had a previously approved site plan, but now those design criteria kind of throw a couple of wrenches into the mix. We received the review comments from Mr. Cleary, and it looks like there's some alterations to the existing design that could make the zoning compliance more compliant, as well as, but there are some pre-existing nonconformities that we'll never be able to establish, meaning that the property is undersized, number 1. 2, we established this site plan design, which is 100% pervious surface, which you're only allowed 90%. So there's different parameters that we won't be able to meet, as well as the guidelines. So I guess the process that we're establishing now is that we want to make the building more compliant, establish our zoning variance that we will need to get approved. In the meantime, taking those design guidelines and trying to implement them in this site, which is a very small, irregular site. So, for example, there's some design guidelines that Mr. Cleary is asking us to do as far as maneuvering of cars through the parking lot. Now, there was several meetings about the parking layout on this property that established this parking layout. Now, it was just, and if we go back to the notes, it was established by a few that the maneuvering is difficult, but they preferred this site design as far as the parking layout. So there's difficult design parameters that need to be addressed that we can address at the next planning board meeting. But the question is, I wanted to be able to introduce this already approved site plan and make sure that you're aware of the irregularities that occur with this site when reviewing it under the HH zoning district. So I'm imagining we have to establish the zoning variances and then represent to you taking those design guidelines into account.
Okay. And there was some parking conversation too. Wasn't there some parking restrictions or?
Yeah, no, under the new guidelines, that's the only thing that's benefiting us is your new guidelines. It benefits us where we're compliant with the parking.
You are, okay.
But the parking layout is a little difficult.
So, just to update you, so the prior approval, those issues were addressed. There was a lot of back and forth with respect to those, eventually did obtain approval. He has to go through that again. New rules, new zoning criteria, so all of the justification of how the backing maneuvers and so forth, you have to go through that again. The old approval is expired, so he's got to go through it all over again with this new plan. So he's got to justify everything, he's got to demonstrate that sewer and water is adequate, that all of that stuff works again, which he did initially, but he's got to do it again because there's different rules.
No, I remember it, and I get it, yeah.
I guess it's just a reintroduction so that you guys understand where we're coming from, as well as, and we already actually to a point where we got the engineering design, the drainage was approved for the site. So we're just reestablishing what design criteria you can enforce versus what was approved prior. So.
Can you walk us through the floor plans?
Sure. Yeah, so let me take this one. So this is the site. odd-shaped, 3,900 and something square feet. The building is pushed to the corner, which is creating some non-conforming setbacks, but we're building on top of the existing footprint, so we're keeping the footprint as is. I'll turn it around. So I'm sure you guys are well aware of what the building looks like now. This is the proposed elevation, existing commercial on the lower level, two one-bedroom apartments above, and we're going to do a rooftop garden on top. This is the elevation.
What's the square footage of the apartments?
I believe they're around close to 900, 800 something. Let me see, 1 sec. 3D views, 1 sec. So, here's the lower level, which is a storage, actually for the owner is going to be occupying the first level, second level, and repetitive on the third level, the one-bedroom apartment. It's roughly 30 by, I'd say 30, it's around 900 square feet.
The owner's going to occupy the first floor. When you say storage, is it going to be a storage facility or storage for a business or?
Just
what?
storage for a business.
Okay. So there won't be people coming and going
No,
for dropping,
no.
okay.
Yeah, Eileen, the elevation, it looks like there's garage doors there.
Yeah.
Those aren't garage doors, those are windows.
Okay.
Yeah, there won't be curb, there's no curb cut there, so it's just going to make it look like a big glazed opening.
And one other point about this, when we went through this last time, this is an area that could use some reinvestment.
It
So
could.
This was generally viewed favorably, although it's a tiny, tight site. So that was the dilemma. I think we were supportive of redeveloping, but it's a tight property.
It's a very, very tight property, and very hard to, proposing this is, for a business to go there is very difficult, but if it's just for storage,
Cleary, Mr. Cleary's communication identified 10 area variances needed to comply with the district. It looks like 4 of them are for existing conditions.
Correct.
I think that you should do whatever you can to
Yeah.
reduce them, whether you're increasing the height of the stories above. And you have a concrete area in front of the building. If you could turn that over to green space, put a little lawn there. I mean, you've got like.
Yeah, no, that was, I don't know if that was an option, because that was poured by the town, poured that whole sidewalk along Broadway, and it just so happened our building was set back, so they did the whole sidewalk to his building. So I don't know if it's available, he can cut 4 feet or so of it, and,
Yeah, the town went to the building, it extended beyond the property line.
yeah.
So my opinion is you absolutely could reclaim that area. And
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
it's
It might
green-
might get you to your 10%, whatever that.
No, that's fine, no,
Yeah.
that's definitely an option, I just didn't know whether or not we can cut back the existing sidewalk that was poured by the town.
I would just get concerned that it becomes a parking space and messes
Yeah.
with the sidewalk, and if we can make it green and eliminate one of the variances, that's good.
No, that's not, I don't know if it's even I don't know if we can hit that mark even with that, even
Oh.
if I go 4 feet by the length of the building, the length of the building's only 40.
Okay.
We need 390.
Okay.
So it's going to be, but in an effort to make that attempt, it'll be, I guess helpful, right?
Yeah,
It's less than 100.
lessen the variance
Yeah,
then.
less than 100. So I guess this meeting for me was just to reintroduce and see how the previous design needs to be altered to comply with the zoning as well as design guidelines from the HH zoning district.
what is there in there? A lobby? Right?
Yeah, there's a lobby right here, yeah. So the stairs go up this way?
Gotcha.
And the rooftop is a terrace area, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Open space, which we're gonna,
Yeah.
so that's the first floor, and then that's the Bilco door, the stairs to the roof.
So the tenants be able to use that, right?
Well, yeah, they all can use it from the first floor to the second floor, the first 2 tenants, but not the bottom floor. They're gonna lock it for the tenants, I believe,
Yeah.
just for tenant use.
Okay. Okay, so it's reintroduced. We have any other questions or comments?
No, but we do need to deal with seeker on this, so you can designate lead agency and get that
Alright.
process started.
Okay, so we have a decision to make. Do we want to establish ourselves as lead agent, which is typical?
I'll make a motion that we designate ourselves as leaders.
Motion from John,
I'll second it.
second from Steve, Jane,
Aye.
John, Eileen,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and I for me. Okay, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, just from a clarity, just to make some, I go zoning first, then back,
Still come back to show us what you're doing in terms
Okay.
of those modifications.
All right.
And then the planning board theoretically can send a positive recommendation to the zoning.
Okay,
board Because
all
you've
right.
done a good thing.
okay. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Terrence. Okay. Any motion to close the meeting?
Motion.
Motion from John,
Second?
second from Jane,
Aye.
John, Eileen,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and I for me. All right, meeting is closed. And we can kill the mic.